What's up, everybody? This is FitSpaz Recovery. I'm Paul, the producer, and I'm here to help you get fit, healthy, and stay sober. I've had an interesting week. I've been quite productive the last couple weeks. Some stuff has been clicking in my routine, and I've been trying to improve little things every single day, moving in a direction, creating systems to move my life forward. And I'll get more into that stuff in just a bit. I'll just begin by talking about my fitness. I'm in my 4th week of this program, 22-minute hardcore, and it's pretty cool. I've seen myself improve what I would call dramatically with the cardio workouts and the resistance workouts. And I've blown away my records in the cardio workout as far as just keeping going, keeping up with the cadence, doing all the reps, and it's been extraordinary for me to make it as far in as I have. About 16 and a half minutes on both these workouts, cardio 1, cardio 2, and they're really hard. And my goal is to eventually, hopefully, be able to finish those out, go all the way through the whole workout and be like, wow, I did it. And I'm not quite there yet, but I continue to amaze myself because I have just been pushing so exceedingly hard. And I'm not a military vet. I'm not the strongest person in the world. I'm not the fastest person in the world. I'm just pushing myself to improve in a lot of different areas. And when my legs are burning and they're like, stop, I'm just like, whatever. I keep going and I follow through with certain things that are very hard. Certain moves that are very hard. These reverse lunges and squats at the same time, and it's blowing my mind a little bit. These gorilla crawls where you're squatting down and using your shoulders to crawl across twice and then go back the other direction, those I call kryptonite. And the fact that I made it through 2 rounds of those and finished the 2 rounds in both workouts before I pooped out in the 3rd round, I'm very pleased with that. And I'm not really bragging as much as I am just pointing out I can't believe how much I've improved. And that's really the zest of life for me, to be able to keep continuing, improving, growing, still doing my Wednesday night dance routine. And same with that, I'm focusing on it very hard, and it's a 50-minute routine. It's called Living in the Eights from this dance program Size. And let's see, this week will be my 4th repetition of this particular program, this particular routine, and you repeat it 7 times total. And I've just been focusing so hard on trying to do it right. And I love how, like I've said to you guys before, when the muscle memory kicks in, you can start enjoying yourself more, and you can kind of start tweaking it to have more style. And God knows I'm not a dancer. I'm not even close to being a professional dancer. I just get a kick out of the learning and getting moving and sweating. It's 50 minutes, this one. That makes my brain almost melt. But so I can't focus on the time when I'm doing it, because it distracts me and makes me like, I have to just focus on each individual move that we're practicing at a given moment. And so I'm really enjoying that. And today I did a resistance workout, and I didn't pause at all. I was pausing up to 4 times doing this same one before, and then I got it down to 2 times that I paused. And today I just pushed straight through. I almost hit every single rep, but there's this reverse lunge thing you do with this 20-pound sandbag, and when you lunge back, you row it sort of in a motion like this by your front leg, that's your grounding leg. And on the last set of those in the 3rd round, I got up to 16. You're supposed to do 20, but I pushed myself all the way to the end. And I even did better in the bonus round, when you have to just keep running in place and then doing a burpee and doing these push-ups. And I'm like, oh, okay, so enough about fitness. I'm just very pleased with my improvements. I see those improvements, and it's like, that's awesome. Other areas of my life are improving a lot too, because I've been staying busy. But first, let me talk about my Sunday. Sunday was interesting because it was my rest day. It's the day I take off in this program from exercising, and a few things were different that day. I woke up too early, like at 5:30, and I was just preoccupied and I couldn't sleep. My daughter was with me, and I made a choice not to meditate that day, and on top of that, I didn't exercise. And so those three things that are usually a very regular, vital part of my daily behavior, I didn't get them done. And I could certainly feel how my mood was a little more frustrated and downtrodden. So I should have spent, at the very least, not sleeping well. I should have meditated. I should have also done some active warm-up and getting the blood moving in my body and stuff. I think it's like essential to my mood, maintaining these habits, these routines, even on my rest days, doing enough stuff to have, like my nose itches. I don't know if we have allergies going on lately, but I've been sneezing a lot more and my nose itches. I'm not sick, but so I don't know what's going on. Anyway, back to Sunday morning, and I had told you guys before how I made a choice that on some days when my daughter's with me, I will compromise and not do meditation because I'm trying to have more time with her. But I also have clearly observed how that activity sort of mellows me out. I spend those 21 to 23 minutes really calming my mind, clearing out the clutter and the anxiety. And it's like a ripple effect throughout the day. When I do that, it's just like this calm extends throughout the day. And it seems to work. So even though I told you I might compromise and not meditate, I notice that there's a deterioration in my mood and my ability to be patient. And so I've been going back to being regular with it while she's with me. I just... parenting is part of a process I want to improve at too. And if I'm more patient and I'm more calm and relaxed as a father, I see more of a benefit for my daughter than not meditating and being more frustrated. And I wasn't taking my frustrations out on her or anything. The point I'm simply making is that I could feel that agitation in me, and it lasted for a lot of the day. And the missing of sleep, I think, was probably more detrimental than anything else that day. So it goes back to what I've said to you guys. What's vital for me, I think, is also vital for everybody. And it takes a lot of self-discipline to execute all of it. Getting good sleep, the meditation for me, the exercise, and the nutrition, eating fundamentally good foods, nourishing myself properly. And all these things... You don't have to be perfect and great at them in one day. I'm not. I wouldn't even describe myself as great. I just know that I'm trying to formulate new habits and improve a little bit in my life every day along all these lines so that I'm more in harmony and I'm more at peace. So, next on my agenda, I showed you guys this book I started reading last week. Still reading through this. Really enjoy this book. The Power of Self-Discipline, No Excuses, Brian Tracy. So I've told you guys how when I read self-improvement books like this, personal development and whatnot, something these good authors say usually prompts me to take a new step forward and do something new with my routine, with what I'm doing, to just add to what I'm doing, to enrich my life, to be learning constantly. And some special stuff has started happening since I began reading this book. He points out a lot of things sort of simply but brilliantly, in my opinion, like the type of time you're wasting, that it may be entertaining in the short run, but it's not contributing to your success in the long run. And for me, that boils down to watching too much TV. And I'm acknowledging that to you, like accountability right now. Before I started doing this recording today, I should have been doing this podcast, but instead I was watching TV because I found on Hulu this Triumph the Insult Dog is covering the election. And it's so hilarious that it's addicting. And so it goes, cuts more than one way here. So like I shouldn't be watching that much TV. And I think I only watched like 35 minutes or something. It was a little too long after my lunch. But it was so darn funny that I didn't want to stop watching. I mean, I was laughing out loud. And I'm not offended by really off-color humor and stuff, but it just made me laugh, so it was totally worth it. You got to remember to laugh in life too. You don't take yourself too seriously. Let me add on to the agenda here, between all the things I told you to do to have a good mood that's in harmony. Laugh, for Pete's sake. You gotta laugh. And Triumph the Insult Dog, if you have access to Hulu, I highly recommend you watch that. I should be canceling Hulu and just saving that money every month, but there's some really good content on there without commercials, So I'm trying not to waste a lot of time. And in the spirit of investing in myself and learning something new, I decided to join this learning thing online called Social Team Builder. And it's about how they talk a ton in these 6 modules, and I'm starting the 3rd today, about building a brand and visually representing yourself, and how to build a like page on Facebook and get more followers, and observing your data and seeing what works better. But anyway, and also the real value piece of this is how to advertise on Facebook and get a lot more out of it, more bang for your buck. How to target people properly so that you build up a following that is really something valuable, and people who like following you. But anyway, the point is not what I'm learning in that. It's that I'm investing in myself, and I'm really enjoying what I'm learning. It seems like the perfect thing for me to learn right now. So last week I decided, okay, I'm going to drop $297 and do this. And I also made a commitment to myself, if I drop this money, I'm going through these lessons, of which there are many videos and hours of training. And I've done that so far, and I'm done with module 2, and I've taken all kinds of notes, and in the notes I'm relating it to my own life. And so I was prompted to do that by an upline Beachbody coach who I admire a lot, and he's been trying to teach me how to do all this stuff. What's up, Mike? If you're ever watching this. So lots of stuff in this, especially about self-discipline. And let me continue by saying another thing I've been doing differently is, instead of watching TV and being like a lump on a log on my loud couch in the afternoon, I've been going to Front Range Library in the afternoons oftentimes, and I've been reserving a private study room there and just going through all these modules I was telling you about. And I've been reading this book, that's been part of it, and I've been online learning how to post Facebook ads, creating the text for Facebook ads and posting those, and really thinking about that medium and what kind of products or what kind of things I could sell through Facebook to make a living. And not just like a gratuitous, I want your money living, but just destined stuff, what feels natural for me, like what I'm finding I'm good at, and developing it into some kind of product where I might be able to pass my knowledge on to others and earn a living for myself at the same time, build an income stream. Because believe it or not, this is not about oh, I want some money. It's about how money, to a certain extent, is security. If you got to go to the doctor, in my case, I avoid going to the doctor a lot because of money, and I shouldn't. But so making money, building a future, also because I want my daughter to grow up and have a lot of the same choices I've had. So I want to take a lot of the hard work out of it so that she doesn't have to chase a paycheck, and someday she might be able to just choose what she wants to pursue and do. Hopefully we're instilling values in her so that she's motivated and a self-starter to want to do that someday. That's the goal anyway. So really good stuff for me lately. I would almost say I feel like I'm inching toward a miracle. And even after a year of being sober from smoking marijuana and drinking, I didn't feel like I was quite hitting miracle time. But lately, I want to keep these habits up, because these books just keep stressing, especially the term self-discipline, how it's mastery of yourself, creating systems that, even though it might be boring on a given day, even though you don't want to do it, even though it's a tiny bit of movement each day, you you commit to it with consistency, and over time you get the reward. It's also making me see very clearly, okay, like if I really want to succeed at the most valuable thing I have to be doing, I'm not really doing it right now, but I feel like I'm on the verge of being able to, I'm doing it a little bit, not enough as much as I would like, but I want to be hitting that hard every day. Like, here's the most valuable way to spend my time to get that payoff in the future, feeling successful. And it is financial. I'm sorry. Like, some people are like, he's all about money, but I'm not all about money. It's just the fact of life that in order to spend my time the way I want to create an income so I can go on vacation. Like, that's part of my why. I want to be able to go away as much as once a month for special things. And you know what? I'm not a tourist. So let me just talk about how part of my why is I want to travel, because when I'm on the road doing something, I feel excited. I feel like stirred up in a way that life is just very enjoyable. And so I don't want to just go and be a tourist in a town. Like, I just got back from the Beachbody Summit in Nashville several weeks ago, and about a month ago, whatever it was, almost a month ago. And I don't really want to be a tourist that much of the time, just walk around and be like, there's a little bit of that I do enjoy. And I want to go places where there's an event taking place, especially events that teach me how to be better at what I'm doing. So Beachbody's perfect since I'm into that. I last year went to the Eric Worre's Marketing Impact. No, that was Chalene Johnson's Marketing Impact is what that was called. I went to San Diego to do that, but I went to Las Vegas to do Eric Worre's event, the GoPro event, and all these things are geared around learning something, and they stir me up emotionally to want to do things. And I feel like I'm more productive when I go do those things because they're stirring my mind, and I'm like, I'll try this, push on this, but I need to. Something very interesting someone said online today was, you don't have to overwhelm yourself and do it all at once. Just master one little thing at a time, get better at creating these little systems, and build on it as you go. And it's very true. So along these lines, I look at nutrition like that, right? It's hard to master nutrition and become great at nourishing myself, but every little bit counts. And I started watching these things. I know I'm mentioning Beachbody a lot today, and it's not to sell. It's very much a part of my life now. So it's kind of funny. They have this Beachbody on Demand, and they put out all this content. And one of these new things they have is a show about how to prep your food. And so I've been watching, trying to learn what little things I can do to add and change to my nutrition routine to constantly be improving my nutrition. Because frankly, like, I think of improving my nutrition as the medicine for my body, which is your temple, and improving myself to be the greatest I can be physically so that I can fulfill all my other potential to the best of my ability by being fully healthy, fully nourished, and all that. So I've been improving myself in that area too. Just an example, this one suggestion they had was, instead of using regular processed sugar, white sugar cane, replace it with coconut sugar, which has a very similar sweet taste, but it doesn't spike your blood sugar, which is bad for you. When you don't need it, sugar's not necessary, and when you don't need it, it can only be bad for you in the long run. So instead of using white sugar, I'm going to start replacing it with the coconut sugar, and it doesn't spike your insulin levels, and it doesn't cause that unhealthy reaction in the body. And when you spike your insulin, I guess you store more fat, and I have this belly I want to get rid of. So that was one little thing I changed. What's next? I'm not quite sure, but I might try prepping some meals for a week and see how I do with that. And it'll save me some time, which is good. And so today there's a little more, it's not the normal day. I've been going to the library between 1 and 5 very often, and I'm not always going when I have my daughter with me. There was one day last week when my mom took care of her so I could go to the library and finish up some stuff. but I'm usually staying with her and spending most of my time with her. But that doesn't mean that I'm giving up on being productive on days that I have her. But at the same time, I want to improve my skill as a father, my patience, and take initiative with that. Have self-discipline as a father and not be passive about things where I need to step in and be like, "Hey, honey, no." It's not so easy being a parent in that way. Although I'm super gratified to be a father, I find I'm thinking a lot about, especially reading these books that encompass all of it: finances, business, learning, motivation, self-discipline applies as a parent too, and that's really important to me. So this was a really interesting these were really interesting last couple weeks I had, staying very productive, and I know that it helps my mood overall. Like when I sit on the couch and watch TV for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I can really start getting frustrated. So I've been trying, most of the time successfully, to put TV off as much as possible, to have it off, not watch a bunch of stupid negative political news. And if there are shows I'm interested in, watching them late at night as my routine to kind of wind down for bed. So literally after 8:30, 9:30, 10 is when I'm starting to watch a little this and that, and keeping it to a half an hour to an hour tops, so that I don't start getting that frustrated, restless feeling, which really messes with me a little bit. I don't like that. So I have to give TV up to some extent. I'm at that point to get these other things done. Self-discipline with managing my time. That word keeps coming back today, right? Like self-discipline, like mastering yourself and being honest with myself. You know, there's the serenity prayer, the regular serenity prayer, and let me tell you how I add to it. So if you don't know what it is, the serenity prayer is this thing people say a lot. And it's like, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Excuse me. I add to that personally. I say, grant me the serenity, the honesty, grant me the serenity, the relaxation, the calm to accept the things I cannot change, the courage, the wherewithal, the motivation, the initiative, the self-discipline to change the things I can, the things I should, the things I want to, and the wisdom, the honesty, and the integrity to know the difference. And the reason I add the honesty and the integrity in there at the end is because I don't want to kid myself. I don't want to delude myself. I don't want to lie to myself or make excuses about why I'm doing things. I want to be straight up real with myself. And so there are aspects of my life where I go, am I being real with myself there? Or am I just kind of fancifully making up an excuse and compartmentalizing the fact that I have an issue there or something? And there are a couple things like that I could mention right now that would blow your minds, but I'm not going to do that at this time being. I'll figure it out, and then maybe someday I might have the desire to share. But so I change up that prayer routine, and I feel like I'm customizing it to making it better for myself. Take it. You know, if you think there's some value in that, take it, make it better for yourself. It's about the integrity, though, not BSing myself when I may be making up an excuse, right? No excuses. I'm nearing 24 minutes on this. I should approach the process of wrapping this up. Alrighty. Let me just finish up with something silly and fun. If you have a Best Buy in your area, call them. See where and if they have the demo computer set up so that you can try out the Oculus virtual reality. I had a friend on Facebook mention how he did that, and he was like, oh, he was raving about it. So I was like, yeah, I don't usually do this, but I heard what he said, and I'm going to go check this thing out. And it was pretty darn cool. The way it made me feel mentally immersed in something, and the way it was fooling my senses, and and the view around you is all like, you turn around and you see all this different landscape and view. You feel like you're in a different setting. And so I just wanted to encourage you to go try that out, because it's you don't have to be on drugs for this to be a very intriguing experience. After I left Best Buy, I felt kind of thrilled with what I had just experienced. So I want to encourage you to go try that just for fun, for a kick. I'm personally not buying one. And the reason is I don't want to waste a ton of time in a reality like that unless I'm learning something from it, or there's a business purpose or a personal purpose where it's bettering me and leading me in a direction. So I could also see it as a negative thing, people being in these phony realities for a long time and becoming socially or personally awkward when they have to deal with the real world and real problems. But like I said, if this medium develops scenarios where you're learning to problem solve and apply it to real life, making you a better person, that's really what sounds interesting to me. And there was one I saw the other day online on Facebook about, it was basically a virtual reality setting where you had virtual instruments that you could play, and I thought, now that is something pretty cool that I could be into, as long as there's a skill you're learning that enriches you as a person. But you could be wasting a lot of time in a phony reality doing something that really doesn't better you. So pay attention to how you're spending your time is the point. Today, I was so into what I was telling you. Darn it, here we go. I have to do this. I was so into what I was telling you that I didn't even play any music in the background, right? I kept my mind pretty busy. I hope some of this was good for you guys. But I'm going to start wrapping this up, of course. Once again, let me tell you who I am. I'm Paul, the producer from FitSpaz RECOVERY. You can check out FitSpaz.com to learn more about me. Or you can just, the place where I'm posting most of my content these days is on my Facebook page. So if that's of interest to you and you're on Facebook, search for FitSpaz and you should be able to find me. FITSPAZ. I think I'm the only one out there, so it shouldn't be too hard. You'll see that symbol right at the top of the page there, and if you see that, you've found me. I want to thank Kevin MacLeod for all the great music that I get to play on this show. As long as I tell you all who it's from, he pretty much allows it, Creative Commons stuff. So go to incompetech.com to find out more about him. Check out fitspaz.com. Get involved with fitness with me. I hope some of what I'm saying is of value to some of you out there. I know it's not easy, but I'm doing fairly well after I have over 20 months now of sobriety, and things are starting to click. I'm feeling good about the way certain things are clicking. And if I can keep it up consistently and patiently, I think it's going to pay off in the long run. But I have to be patient, because there are days I feel a little more restless, but I'm still trying to follow through with little steps every single day. Be disciplined about it. Self-discipline. That's the word of the day, the phrase of the day. Self-discipline. In so many ways, how essential it is to master the self. All right, everybody. That's all I'm going to say for now today, and I will come at you next week. On Wednesday, because now I don't have my daughter on Wednesdays because she has returned to school, and so I will be doing this on Wednesdays typically and keeping busy with it, and I'm going to keep trying to preach the good stuff to you guys. Oh, that's so silly. All right. On that note, have a nice day, everybody.